Imagine handing your newborn baby to a stranger, believing they'd find a better life, only for that child to vanish into ashes. This is the story of Dagmar Overbye, Denmark's deadliest baby farmer. In the shadows of early 20th century Denmark, where unmarried mothers were cast out like ghosts, one woman built an empire on their desperation. Dagmar Overbye wasn't a monster from fairy tales. She was the quiet neighbor next door, offering hope in a world that offered none. But behind her plain facade lay a horror that claimed dozens of innocent lives. Today, we're diving into this forgotten chapter of true crime, where society turned a blind eye and silence became a killer. Picture this. It's 1910s Denmark. No welfare, no support, just shame heaped on women who dared have a child out of wedlock. Jobs vanished, families disowned them, and society whispered they'd ruined their lives. Enter Dagmar Overbye, a seemingly ordinary woman who advertised in newspapers as a caretaker. "I'll find your baby a loving home," she'd say, charging a small fee for her placement services. Desperate mothers believed her relieved, even grateful, as they walked away, hearts heavy but hopeful. But hope died at her doorstep. Once alone, Dagmar's true nature emerged. She didn't place those babies, she ended them. Some she starved, letting their tiny cries weaken over days until they went quiet. Others she suffocated gently, as if tucking them in for the last time. The weakest were left exposed to the biting cold, their fragile bodies giving out. And when it was done, she'd burn the remains in her kitchen stove, the smoke curling up the chimney like forgotten prayers. Neighbors noticed, the acrid smell lingering in the air, the odd hours of crying that suddenly stopped. Landlords grumbled about the constant smoke, but who listened? Authorities brushed it off as idle gossip in a time when social services were a patchwork of nothing. No records were kept, no questions asked. Infants weren't people to track. They were problems to hide. Dagmar thrived in this void, emotionally vacant, manipulative, seeing those babies not as lives but as burdens to discard. Psychiatric reports later painted her as devoid of any maternal spark-cold, calculating, killing not from rage, but from convenience and profit. The deaths piled up, silent and unseen. Dozens of infants, maybe more, vanished into her care, their names erased, their existence unrecorded. It was a black market fueled by society's cruelty, where shame replaced compassion and vulnerability invited predators. But cracks formed when one persistent mother wouldn't let go. She demanded proof her child was alive, updates, visits, anything. Dagmar dodged, lead stalled. Finally, the woman went to the police. What they uncovered shattered Denmark. In her home, evidence of horror, bone pieces, incinerated remains, signs of repeated, methodical killings. Dagmar confessed without a flicker of remorse, her voice steady as she said the babies were better off dead than unwanted. It was a chilling echo of the era's heartlessness, where unwanted children were disposable. The nation reeled in outrage and shame. Dagmar was sentenced to death, though it was commuted to life in prison. But the real crime? She didn't act alone. Society handed her those babies, wrapped in silence and indifference. Every ignored the cries, every dismissed report was permission to continue. Dagmar Overbye's story isn't just about one woman's darkness. It's a mirror to a time when shame bred monsters. Her victims, lost to history, remind us, when we look away, evil doesn't hide, it waits. If this story caught your attention, smash that like button and share it. Subscribe to Fatal Truth for more gripping European true crime. Hit that notification bell. Remembering these victims means their stories live on. What case should we dive into next? Let us know in the comments.